either a nothing burger or a very, very big problem. I just read an article that there is an interesting conflict of interest going on with the Canadian Supreme Court. What is this, you might ask? Well, apparently there is a bust of the current sitting Chief Justice in the entrance hall of the Supreme Court, and that in itself, you're like, so what? There are busts of all the previous Chief Justices in the Supreme Court hall. Who cares? Yes, that is true. However, all of those busts were erected after the Chief Justices retired. But apparently this bust went up while Chief Justice Wagner is still sitting. Nobody knows who acquisitioned this bust, because all the busts of the previous Chief Justices have been presented and donated by somebody, and it's always on a plaque, beside the bust. There were busts donated by the Canadian Bar Association. There have been busts donated by family members. And it's all written down on a plaque. Who donated it, all that. This bust doesn't have any of that information. Nobody knows who requisitioned this bust. The artist can't remember, quote, can't remember who paid for it. There were 2 busts commissioned. One went to the Chief Justice's former law firm, and the law firm did say that they bought and paid for that statue, that replica bust. They did say that, but they say another patron requested the original bust that sits in Ottawa. The Chief Justice doesn't even know who commissioned this bust. He met with the artist to take pictures in 2019, and the artist made a clay likeness of him first, and then it was approved, and then it went off to the foundry to be cast. But there's the Supreme Court's basically secretary is refusing to answer questions on who paid for this, who wanted it there, why is it erected before Chief Justice Wagner is retired. Because that's the big thing, is there's no rule that says you can't have a bust of yourself when you're sitting as Chief Justice, but the general etiquette has been that you have it put up after you're retired. It really gives kind of a touch of megalomania if you've got a statue of the current Chief Justice looming over you as you walk into the court. That's a little bit could you imagine if Harper or Trudeau had a bust of themselves just fucking plunked in the House of Commons while they were still Prime Minister? Holy shit. I wouldn't put it past Trudeau, but holy shit. You, the megalomania that would be. It doesn't sit well, and there are several highfalutin, I guess we'll say, legal minds and ethics experts, some of whom who have business before the Supreme Court, so they asked to remain anonymous in the article I read this morning, that this is very concerning. It's very bizarre that nobody's willing to tell us who commissioned this bust and paid for it. We have no idea. We don't know if it's a current litigant with business before the court. We don't know if it was a corrupt litigant. We don't know if it's a foreign power. We don't know anything. We don't know anything about who ordered this bust and why this bust is sitting while the current Chief Justice is still here, and why it didn't wait till after he was retired. So that's this morning's story. We'll see where this goes and if it goes anywhere, but I thought I'd report on it because it seems a little bit stinky to me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.